الحمد لله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm joined with the amazing Ashley Pearson Khan. I love her YouTube channel. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it now. I'll link it in the title. All of her social medias will be on here as well. So inshallah, you can check it out. It's a really great channel.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be doing this. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. I found you on Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, here's somebody else with the YouTube channel. So I went to check it out. So I hope everybody is enjoying that as well. So super happy.
And we've both been to Pakistan, so that's something we have in common as well. Yeah, just like sharing our stories over like things that happen and stuff. It's so interesting. Anyway, okay, Ashley, so I want to know, were you religious before you became Muslim? Did you follow a religion?
So growing up, we didn't like go to church very much or anything, but around the time that I was 12, we started going to church. And I think I asked questions about God. Like I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't believe in God, but I feel like from age 12 to about 16, I went to church a lot. When I was yeah, and then even in the summers we went to like church camp and stuff. But then my parents separated and got divorced, and it became really hard to go to church. So I think I struggled a little bit. And so when I got to college, I would try a couple different churches every now and then. It's like I wanted to be there and I wanted, to have this connection with God. And it just never, I don't know, like clicked completely. Like something was just off. So I would always be like proud to say I was Christian, like, oh yeah, like I love God and all of that. But it wasn't just like super strict, I guess.
So how did you go from that to becoming Muslim? What's your story? What is your convert story?
I think it kind of started in college. I became friends with a Muslim woman, and I don't think I'd ever had a Muslim friend before, at least that I know of. And she told me a little bit about the religion, but sometimes we just had casual conversations as well. And I remember how she was treated or like how she was looked at when we would go out to eat together or something like that, because we lived in a small town that was a bit prejudiced. And she had told me stories where, one of her friends was leaving a restaurant and some man had stopped her and was like, why are you guys terrorists? And like all of this stuff just because she was wearing her hijab. And I couldn't believe that people would treat them that way. Like, I'm like, you don't know this person and you are just humiliating her. And she's scared now. And now they're going to, be fearful when they go out to eat. Just, like we're in school. That's like what they're here for. Like, I'm like, why are you treating them this way? So when she left, I learned about World Hijab Day. And I wanted to wear the hijab for her and for the other students on campus in solidarity. And that's when I just dived into like World Hijab Day. And so a few years down the road, when I was living on my own, is when I really started to study Islam. I was like, I need to really immerse myself in this because I need to be a better advocate. Like, I don't want people to ask me questions and I'm like, well, I don't know the answer. And they're like, well, why are you doing this? So I took the 30-day hijab challenge and I was like, I want to go to the mosque because I had met all these wonderful ladies from the mosque and spent some time with them. And so I was like, I'll come visit you during Ramadan. And I thought, if I'm going to do the challenge and go to the mosque, I might as well fast as well. So people were like, hey, if you have any questions, let us know. Or if something was going on that I might not know about, they were like, this is why we're doing this, that type of thing. And so within that like first week or so of Ramadan, I could feel something changing and ended up converting that last night of Ramadan.
Wow, that is such an amazing story. Wow, that is so nice. So it was all kind of like you saw someone that was going under some kind of like injustices. You wanted to help, you wanted to learn, all the good qualities that human beings have. And with those good qualities, you found Islam. How amazing is that? That's absolutely incredible. So, how did your family react when you became Muslim? What's the story there? Was it good? Was it bad?
My mom knew that I was going to be converting about maybe 2 days before, a day before, because I remember like sitting at the mosque and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I think I planned on taking my shahada like a day or two after that. And so I was like, I really have to tell my mom. So I messaged her and I could tell she was like, oh, okay, I'll support you. She's like, I don't know about the rest of the family. And she's like, but just know, like, I'm not converting, basically. And I was like, totally understand. And I waited a little bit longer to tell any of my other family. So I think I went to maybe visit them or something. And I called my aunt, I think, and I knew that she would probably be okay with it. And she was, she's like, you do you, whatever makes you happy. She's very open minded. But I wanted to wait to tell the rest of my family. And I remember going home right after Ramadan ended. And so I still had like some marks on my hand from my henna. And my grandpa noticed it. And he's like, what's on your hand? And I told him, I was like, well, I've been at the mosque spending time with people. And he was like, oh no, she's Muslim. And I was like, no, I would actually never said no. I never said no. I like worked my way around it. Like and I only took my hijab off to go see my family because I was like, I need to just like ease them into this. So we had like this huge conversation and I never said directly that I was Muslim. So about a month into being Muslim, I finally went home and I was like, okay, I'm going to tell my grandparents. And so I was actually at my aunt's house and she helped me tell my grandma. And then my grandpa came over, we told him, and they ended up being pretty supportive. My grandpa was like, you do you. He's like, if you want to wear that headscarf, wear it, whatever, And then they, that same day, my dad ended up in the same town because they were all kind of spread out. My grandma and my aunt helped me tell my dad. And my dad definitely knew that college was played a part in me converting. And he was very concerned because he didn't know a lot about Islam. He's one of those people who is only seeing the negative things in the media, like so many people do. And so I think it took a little while for him to come around. Because we even like on my social media channels, like Facebook, whenever I would post photos or something, I noticed he didn't like them anymore. He didn't comment as much. I think he didn't comment at all for that whole year. And then, but I was surprised, like my whole family, they would go out with me when I was wearing my hijab and everything, they would ask some questions every now and then, but you could tell it was awkward for them, like they just didn't know. And so whenever I met my husband and he came to visit, he of course wanted to meet my family. So he was able to meet my mom and my dad. And whenever he went back home to Canada, because I was in the US at the time, he went back home. And when he got home and he told his parents, okay, I want to marry this girl. My husband and his dad called my dad. And after that phone call, just saying, hey, my dad messaged me and he was like, Imran and his dad just called me. Like, they are so nice. They seem ready to welcome you into their family as well as like us into their family. And he's like, if you want to marry him, you go for it. And it's like his whole perspective of Muslims changed because of my husband and his family. So.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. And I think that shows the power of just being nice and being a good person and just having good character, the power that you can have over even people that are kind of not sure about Islam and Muslims, and the fact that they sort of swung him over just by the way they are, their character. That's absolutely incredible.
And I think that helped me a lot too, because I told people, I was like, Muslims are like the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And my dad, whenever I got married, my dad met my husband's parents, and then he also met some other of my Muslim friends that live in Arkansas, and they love my dad and my dad loves them as well. And so there was, it was just amazing to watch, happen for him to just like love these people and they loved him back. It was so great.
Definitely. I always say having good character is the best dawah. Something I always say, and I think that really is good evidence of it. Mashallah. Mashallah, sister. Well, thank you so much for coming on my channel. It's been so nice to have you. And I didn't know your story, so it's really interesting to hear your story. And I think there's a lot of good we can take from that. And I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn from that story, inshallah. We can implement it in our lives. Well, thank you for coming. Bye, guys.
الحمد لله